The apartment was silent, but the air was thick, like it remembered what had just happened. The bloodstains on the floor hadn't dried yet, and the knife Jungkook used was still warm. I stared at it, not in fear, but in disbelief. "Jungkook, don't look at me like that," he said, his voice hoarse. "It was him or us." "I know," I whispered, but I wasn't sure if I meant it. I walked past the broken glass on the floor, stepping carefully, trying to avoid the memory of what I'd seen in his eyes when he did it. Not anger, not panic, something worse. Calm. "Jungkook, I told you this world changes people. You asked who I really am. You saw it tonight." "I saw someone protecting me," I replied, but my voice shook. He turned away, the muscles in his back tightening beneath his black shirt. "Jungkook, protection always costs something. That's the price I pay. That you pay too, now." I walked to the window. Outside, the city was alive, unaware of the death that had just occurred 2 floors above. And in the reflection of the glass, I saw something terrifying, myself, not flinching anymore. Taehyung, from the door, he wasn't alone. We both turned. Taehyung stood there, blood on his collar, a pistol in hand. But his eyes, they were focused only on me. "Tae, the man you just killed, was the bait. They know where she is now." "Jungkook, they already knew. We're running out of time. Tae, then we move now. Or we lose her." "I'm right here, you know," I snapped, stepping between them. "I'm not just a name on your war map. Tae, you're more than that," he said softly. "And that's exactly why they'll never stop. Jungkook, we go underground." "You know where." Taehyung didn't reply. He just nodded, eyes still locked with mine. "Tae, don't make promises you can't keep, Jungkook." "Jungkook, I never do." I didn't ask where we were going. I didn't need to. I had already stepped off the edge the moment I saved him in the rain. And now I was falling, with 2 mafia brothers who were both willing to burn the world for me. The place they took me wasn't just underground. It felt buried in time, concrete walls, rusted steel beams, dim yellow lights flickering like they too had seen too much. It didn't smell like safety. It smelled like secrets. "Jungkook, you stay close to me. No matter what." "Tae, she stays with me." "Jungkook, not this again." "Stop." I stepped between them, again. "You're both acting like I'm a prize you're trying to protect, not a person who just watched someone die." Neither said a word. They hated it, not being in control. And I was becoming the one thing they couldn't predict. "Tae, this used to be our father's war room." I turned to him. His voice was distant now, like he'd left his body. "Tae, before he was killed. Before Jungkook and I took opposite sides." "Jungkook, we were never on opposite sides." "Tae, you just keep pretending we weren't." I looked at both of them, 2 versions of the same storm. Jungkook's rage burned quiet and deep. Taehyung's was ice with a heartbeat. And I was stuck in the middle of a fire and a freeze, bleeding trust on both ends. "How long before they find this place?" "Jungkook, hours. Maybe less." "Tae, unless we make them think we've already left the city." "Jungkook, you want to bait them." "Tae, I want to end this." "And what about me?" I asked. "Do I get a say in this game of yours?" Taehyung walked closer, slowly. His voice dropped low. "Tae, you already made your choice, Y/N. The night you didn't walk away." Jungkook turned sharply at that. His fists clenched, but he said nothing. I could see it all, the guilt, the fear, the love. Neither one of them dared speak. "Then tell me the truth. What do they really want from me?" Taehyung and Jungkook exchanged a look. For the first time, I saw them both hesitate. "Tae, you're not just someone we saved, Y/N. Jungkook, you're the key to everything they lost." "The key to what?" I asked, but they both looked away. "Jungkook, you don't remember, do you?" "Remember what?" "Tae, 3 years ago. The explosion at the Rivas compound. You were there, Y/N. My knees weakened, and I had to grip the table beside me. The Rivas explosion was the most violent mafia attack in years. No survivors, they had said. Only ashes and names on death lists. That's impossible. I wasn't, I never. Jungkook, you were found half buried in the wreckage. No ID. No memory. The organization erased everything before we could trace your past. But they knew. They always knew. So why didn't you tell me this earlier?" Tae, because we didn't want you to become her again. Her? Jungkook. Before you were Y/N, you were known as Nyx. That name. It hit me like ice water. Somewhere in my bones, it felt familiar. Terrifyingly familiar. What? What did I do? Tae, you led one of the deadliest intelligence teams inside the Black Viper Syndicate. You were their secret. The weapon no one knew existed. Jungkook, until you betrayed them. Until you blew the compound from the inside, and vanished. No. That can't be. I'm not that person. Tae, you were. And they want you back. Jungkook, or dead. I turned away, breathing heavy. My whole body trembled as if it were rejecting its own history. The flashes came uninvited, gunfire, screams, a tattoo on someone's back, and a hand in mine, covered in blood. Why didn't you just let me stay gone? Tae, because I never stopped looking for you. Jungkook, and I was the one who pulled you from the rubble. Everything shattered in that moment. Not because I was betrayed, but because I was built on lies, and I never knew it. So what now? Do I fight? Do I run? Jungkook, you remember how to fight. You just forgot why. The silence after the truth was louder than gunfire. I sat there, breathing like I had just been pulled from underwater. Jungkook and Taehyung, both standing, both waiting for me to say something. But what do you say when your past is more dangerous than your enemies? Jungkook, they'll come tonight. We intercepted a calm line. They know you're alive. Tae, you have one chance, Y/N. We make a move, or we disappear for good. And if I choose to stay and fight? Jungkook, then you're not just Y/N anymore. You're Nyx again. I stood slowly, feeling my hands tremble but my spine straighten. The weight of the name didn't scare me. What scared me was how familiar it felt to wear it again. Then give me a weapon. Tae, we already did. You just remembered how to use it. He handed me a handgun, heavy, black, and cold like the memories it unlocked. I stared at it, then nodded. Where do we hit first? Jungkook, the East Sector. Their communication hub. If we silence them there, we buy time. And after that? Tae, then we bleed them until they stop coming. We moved quickly. The war room turned into a gear station. Vests, ammo, maps. I changed into black, not just clothes, but mindset. The old me. She wasn't gone. She was just waiting. On the way to the van, Taehyung pulled me aside. Tae, if anything happens to me, promise me you'll run. I'm not running again. He touched my cheek, just a second. Just enough to burn. Jungkook, interrupting, let's move. We've got 10 minutes. We drove into the night, silence between us, but strategy in our eyes. I looked out at the city that once buried me. I came back from the dead once. This time, I bury them. The city blurred past the windows like it was trying to forget itself. Neon signs flickered like dying stars, and everything smelled like gasoline, smoke, and fear. I sat in the back of the black van, my fingers wrapped tightly around the gun Jungkook handed me. It felt heavier now, not just metal, but memory. Jungkook, we get in, plant the charges, get out. No hesitation. Tae, and if they're waiting? Jungkook, then we end it there. You two really don't do plans that don't involve fire and death, huh? Tae, we learned the hard way. Talking gets you killed. Action buys you time. Jungkook, you okay back there? I'm not the same girl you dragged out of the alley, Jungkook. He gave me a look in the rearview mirror, not pity, not fear. Respect. And something else I couldn't name. The van stopped 2 blocks from the East Sector building. We moved through the shadows like we belonged to them. Taehyung went first, quiet, fast, lethal. Jungkook watched our backs. I moved between them, feeling like I was part of a dance choreographed by war. I see 2 on the upper balcony. Armed. Jungkook, leave them. Unless they move. Tae, main comm room is through the northeast stairwell. Go. Inside, the air changed. It always did when death was near. I felt it settle into my bones. Old instincts woke up. I moved like I used to, silently, quickly, eyes calculating. We reached the door. Jungkook, on 3. Tae, no. We breach on 1. You guys seriously need to pick one way of counting. We kicked the door in. Chaos followed. Bullets screamed. I ducked, rolled, fired. Taehyung dropped 2 guards like shadows. Jungkook shoved me behind a steel panel as another wave came in. Jungkook, Plant the charges. I'll cover. I ran to the panel, set the timer. 10 minutes. Enough to burn everything. I turned and saw Jungkook bleeding, his shoulder, again. He was still firing. You're hit, Jungkook, I've been worse. Move. We retreated fast, back into the night, alarms wailing behind us like the city was screaming. At the safe house, Taehyung lit a cigarette and stared at the skyline. Tae, they won't forgive that. Neither will I. And in that moment, we weren't running anymore. We were leading the war.